Hi guys, welcome to Anita in the kitchen. So on this episode, I will be showing you how to make Khao Piak Sen กระดูกข้างหมู or Rice Noodle Soup with pork ribs. So I will be showing you how to make both the broth as well as the rice noodles from scratch. So for the rice noodles, you will need 2 cups of rice flour, 2 cups of tapioca starch, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 cups of hot boiling water, some tapioca starch for dusting, damp cloth, spatula, measuring cups, and bowl. So these are the brands of the flours that I use. If you don't have them, it's okay. Just try to work with whatever that you have available. In the mixing bowl, add 2 cups of rice flour, 2 cups of tapioca starch, 1 teaspoon of salt, and mix this together. Once the flours are mixed, add in hot boiling water. Please add 1 cup at a time, and please make sure that the water is hot enough. It has to be boiling hot. And then mix it. So for this recipe, you will need a total of 2.5 cups of hot boiling water. Once you have added all the water, just take the dough out of the bowl and work on the working surface. So at this point, the dough is very hot, so just be careful and add tapioca starch as you go. You can dust on them as well as on the working surface. Just make sure that it doesn't stick on the working surface. So this will be quite a workout. You will have to knead them for about 10 to 15 minutes or as long as you can. You want the dough to be smooth and silky as well as elastic. So I have kneaded my dough for at least 18 to 20 minutes. My dough is now silky and smooth, and it is ready to be rested. So I'm going to rest my dough in the bowl with a dusted flour and a damp cloth for about 30 minutes. So once the dough is ready, I'm just going to divide my doughs into smaller balls so it is easier to work on. I am also dusting my doughs as I go because I don't want them to get dried out as well as get sticky. Once it is done, just make sure you cover it with damp cloth again so it doesn't get dried out. So I'm just dusting my rolling pin here. and I am pretty much going to flatten my dough. So I have rolled out my dough into about half an inch thick. I don't want it to be too thin or too thick. So before stacking the dough onto each other, just make sure that everything is dusted, the rolling pin as well as the dough itself, so it doesn't get sticky. So once you have finished rolling out your dough, you can go ahead and dust the knife and the cutting board. So at this point, it is up to you of how thick or thin or big or small you want your noodles to be. And I am placing my noodles into a plastic containers so it is easier to store. So my noodles are now ready. So before making the broth, let's prepare the blood cubes first. In a small pot, add water, 1 teaspoon of salt, and blood cubes, and boil this for about 10 to 15 minutes or until it is cooked. Once it is done, set aside for later. So let's look at the ingredients for making the broth. 1 kilogram of pork ribs, roasted shallots, roasted garlic, roasted onion, cilantro roots, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper, 3 tablespoons of fish sauce, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 liters of water, and 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. In a medium heat, add 1 tablespoon of cooking oil and 1 kilogram of pork ribs. Just sauteed it for a bit. Now you can go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients, salt and pepper, 3 tablespoons of fish sauce, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and stirred. So once the ribs are cooked down, you can go ahead and add cilantro roots, roasted onion, roasted shallots, and roasted garlic. Add water. I'm adding 2 liters of water. and go ahead and let it simmer for about 35 to 40 minutes or until it is tendered. At this point, you can skim off the foam on the surface. So with a new pot and a strainer, go ahead and strain out the broth. Bring the broth to a boil and add blood cubes that we have prepared and cut up. At this point, you can taste and check whether you like the broth. Otherwise, you can just turn the heat off. Let's go ahead and cook the noodles. In a smaller pot, add the broth, bring it to a boil, and add the rice noodles that we have prepared earlier. This is just enough to serve about 3 bowls. And I will let it cook for about 10 minutes. Once the noodle is cooked, you can go ahead and add fried shallots, and you can turn off the heat. For the topping, I have sliced some spring onions and cilantro and fried shallots. Finally, the noodle is done. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe for more videos from me. Thank you for watching.